So I've been doing my research on the Quran before diving into like the English translation version of it, and some of the facts I learned caught me off guard. So let's get into it. So for my numerical girlies, and honestly, anyone who likes like numbers and signs and things like that, I'm going to read this because it was a lot. But the word paradise and the word hell are both repeated in the Quran exactly 77 times. Okay, angels and devils are 88 times each. World and hereafter are 115 times. Prayer appears 5 times, which is also the exact number of like prayers you do a day in Islam. And then you got punishment, which occurs 117 times, but then forgiveness occurs 234 times, which is exactly double that of punishment. So that's kind of cool. You've got days, which is repeated 365 times, day, which is repeated 30 times, and then month, which is repeated 12. Whether you believe this is divine or not, you can't deny that this is not a coincidence. Another funny little tidbit is that sarcasm is also featured in the Quran, like intentional sarcasm, especially in instances where we're talking about people who reject the truth, right? So you'll see warnings in there written like, give them the good news of a painful punishment, which I don't know, I think is funny to me. God is sarcastic. Okay, that's noted. And also to prove like its divine nature, there would be times where the Quran would reveal a surah about things that would happen in the future. It'd be some sort of revelation that no one could have known about that did end up becoming true. And it constantly reminds the Prophet Muhammad that since he hasn't been an eyewitness to these events happening, it was only through divine revelation that he's been able to like come to know them. It also foretells a lot of future events that were later proven true. So it's not just a book of rules, it's also verifiable claims that are being made. And then there's this. The Quran also has like falsification tests that people tried to impose on it. And as time went on, because it was so difficult to do it, they like created more simple tests to try and like get people to prove that they could rewrite it, and they couldn't. So the first challenge, right, was someone should come out and write a book that is similar to the Quran. Nobody could do it, right? So then they try to make a simpler test. Like, okay, can anyone write 10 surahs that are, similar to what we see in the Quran? No one can do it. So finally, they're like, okay, someone just write one surah, just one surah that's similar to the surahs we have in this book. The shortest surah is 10 words, right? 10 words, Surah 108, and still nobody could do it. So if anyone is questioning whether like this book has been rewritten or if like it's been tampered with, no, it hasn't, because there hasn't been anyone who can write it in any way that's similar to how it was originally, revealed by God. It literally dares you to prove it wrong, and no one has. I'm not here to convert anyone or, debate anyone about the book or anything. I'm just reading it and telling you guys what I find along the way. And so I'm finding that this book is a lot more layered than I had initially thought it was. And I don't know, I feel like that's kind of interesting. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video where we dive into Surah 1 Al-Fatiha.